Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the stream. I am calling this EconomicsMaxxing Day 2. So I started EconomicsMaxxing like 2 days ago, and my goal for this was to kind of understand how the world works, and how I can build a more macro framework of understanding how, let's say, how the economy is affected by certain policies, actions, some things to look out for the economy, and also how economies might impact, how they might impact financial markets. Okay, and so I've been working on this report, you could say, about building an economic framework, and it kind of is a way for me to build a mental model of how I should think about macroeconomic things in a global sense. So I start off simply just by defining an economy, and I've heard a lot of ways to define economies, and I feel like it's a super abstract concept. So what I've said here is that I just think of an economy as a collection of three different things: consumption of goods and services, the production of goods and services, and labor. So economies exist across different nations, states, local governments, and anything in between, really. Okay, so these are just stats that I have. In 2022, the global economy had an output of 100 trillion. I believe this is from the World Bank open data. Looking to the future, this number is likely only going to increase. Right, I feel like that's an important thing when I'm thinking about financial markets in the future, because I think 9 times out of 10 there is some type of positive growth in global economic output. So that's what I hope. I would hope that human civilization, human production can increase as time goes on. I feel like that probably will lead to a better world where there's more resources being outputted, more wealth being generated, and hopefully uplifting the lives of people across the world. I feel like that's, I want to be optimistic. I want to be optimistic about the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Currently 20 right now, so I'm hoping I can live at least another 50 years, maybe 60, even 70 if I'm lucky. And within those next 70 years, I mean, there's surely going to be lots of ups and downs, but I think mostly it's going to be hopefully a good time. So when we think about then, you have different participants in the economy. So really you have governments, corporations, and households. I think these are probably the biggest institutions to think about here. Governments, they're really the policymakers. They set up the structure of different economies. I know that from my high school economics classes, there's different types of economic theories or structures that people might have. You have your capitalist, your free market economist, and then maybe more government centralized economies. I believe centralized socialism could be a type. So that's something I'm not fully certain about. Different types of economic theories / economic structures. So I feel like is capitalism free market, maybe? Free markets, capitalism, socialism, communism. Okay, alright, and then you have corporations that are businesses. they provide and consume goods and services. Households are people, and they're the people that are providing labor and also consuming goods and services as well. So, yeah, but I guess as I kind of go through this, what I have so far, it's not really in particular order at this time. These are just some ideas that I have, some things I want to think about as I kind of build this mental model. So what are the biggest economies? Let me see if this is still working. Okay, no, it's not. All right, my screen is frozen again, so I'm going to refresh this. Let's see. So when I think about, let's see. All right, nice. When I think about the biggest economies, so US, China, EU, I feel like this is something I could search up because I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm just basing it off GDP, gross domestic output. Oh, sorry, gross domestic product, not output. And then there's also the idea of gross domestic income. I don't know what the difference is between the two. I feel like they're pretty similar, but let's take a look at World Bank global GDP. $97 trillion. United States, China, Japan, Germany, India, United Kingdom, Russian Federation. So 25 trillion. 17 trillion. Japan is 4 trillion. Germany. Germany. Okay. It's like countries maybe. So you really have the US as number one, China, then you have Japan, Germany, I'm surprised, then India, regions, so I remember I have some code. Let's take a look. Open folder, Zang Fund. I feel like I have some code and some data on this. Maybe in the industry report. The reports. Let's look at GDP from a theoretical. So this is where I talk about GDP, talk about GNI, okay. CHIPS Acts, inflation rate, market, right. Maybe I don't have. Gambling is for the scratch offs. Macroeconomic data, GDP, maybe? Constant GDP. Company reports, DKS, exporting goods. UA, BFC, okay, BFC Senbits, alright, economic reports, Yeah, I want to take a look at the macroeconomic data. GDP, metadata country. It's constant GDP. Oh, maybe that's a measure of GDP relative to 2015 dollars. So maybe it's a more real measure of GDP. Let's take a look. So GDP. So what do we want here? I kind of want to take a look at this January report, and then also I want to take a look at my economics report. I can't find it. Right here. Okay. Who participates in the economy? Okay. So this is some place where I can just write some Python code. Then we can import pandas as PD, so we can use pandas data frame, and then we'll create a df, and then we'll read from our CSV file. I believe we need to put the file path, so the file path, we're in economics reports. I think we need to get into data, so I think we might have to go up one, and then let's get into /data /macroeconomic data /GDP /GDP.csv. Okay, so that should be the right file path, and then we could just display our data frame, and let's just take a look at what this looks like. Okay, indicator code 1960s. Oh wow. So and then let's see how we can, yeah, I forgot how do you sort, how to sort a data frame based on column. Okay, so df sorted is equal to df.sort values, and then we could do by is equal to 2022, right? Alright, let's take a look. It's probably the smallest. Oh wait. So we want this. Yemen Republic. Ascending, is there, right, so ascending is equal to false. False. The world, high income. So maybe we want let's display the country name, so .lock. I think we might be able to do this. So country name, so we can pass in a list. The first index, 2022. Right, let's see if this works. Okay, so maybe this doesn't work. Maybe we can just index it actually, just like this. So country name, and then we also have 2022, and we also want to get the head of this. So dot head. Key error country name. Oh, is there? Let's see. So display df sorted dot columns. All right. Country name. Oh shoot. Okay, this might be it. Okay, I might have to look this up. How to select multiple columns in pandas. Oh, do I need to pass in a list when I index it? Man, okay. There we go. So 20 maybe? Let's take a look at the top 20. So let me just restart this. Low and middle income. Oh yeah, how do I limit? I keep forgetting this. Open up ChatGPT 2. How do I change sign? How do I turn off scientific notation in pandas? Display option. Format to display. Okay, so maybe this is what we need. Set options. All right, nice. So I think this is 3. Oh yeah, this is 101 trillion. So I think it's like 100,000 billions. Late demographic dividend, upper middle income, East Asia and Pacific is the most. Okay. North America, Europe, and Central Asia. EU. Euro area. What is IBR? OECD. What? Wait, let's see. So I have to go use the bathroom real quick, so I'll be back in a sec. Okay, what is up? I'm back now. Alright, so OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, is an intergovernmental organization with 38 member countries. Okay. So it's just another one of those supranational, I guess. So it kind of extends beyond a single country. Oops, okay. Middle income, IBRD. There's IBRD. International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Middle income developing countries, okay. Yeah, okay, so it does seem like East Asia and Pacific. they are one of the higher GDP outputting countries. I'm not too sure exactly what the low middle income are, but this kind of gives some some good insight into what's going on here. So let's say East Asia and Pacific to North America, 3 Europe and Central Asia. Right, okay. So we have these are our biggest countries, and then our regions ordered by GDP output are the following. So I have some other questions here. How does the economic machine work? How do long-term debt cycles and short-term debt cycles work? How does money flow around the world? What are the impacts of demographics on economies? How do each of the participants affect the economy? How does the European Union work? How does trade work? How does NATO work? What is the IMF and World Bank? What is the United Nations? Governments make most of their money by taxing the people they serve. There are different types of taxes. Okay, so governments, how many countries, how many currencies, foreign central banks, ECB, European Central Bank, data resources, census, United Nations. Okay, so yeah, I think this part I talk about how governments are an essential part to really every part of the economy. They could exist as at the national, state, local level, but they make and enforce policies and provide services to groups of people. And the main way that governments make money is through taxes. And so I think maybe having a basic understanding of how taxes work is important. Income tax, usually I believe you have this type of marginal tax rate within a system. So what that means, I believe, is you get taxed relative to your income, and that tax increases as you have higher income. But at the end of the day, income is just pretty hard to define. So that's something I won't try to tackle here. Payroll taxes, money that a government keeps from people's paychecks. Whenever a salaried worker gets paid, a portion of that money goes to fund social programs. What I don't know is a value-added tax, so I've always get confused on what is a value-added tax. Ooh. Place on product whenever value is added at each stage of the supply chain from So VAT is charged on the value added to a production at each stage in this production distribution. This is different between the cost of inputs to the product and price, which is so okay. Sales output VAT and reclaim VAT on the purchases. If the input VAT is more than the output, the business can reclaim the difference. Generation of governments. So it seems like the European Union VAT is seen as fairer than the sales tax because it's levied at. Okay. gonna ask something. I forgot what it was. Yeah, what is a consumption tax? Purchase of goods and services. Income tax. Sales tax. Okay. So these are, could you, alright, consumption taxes, right? So import tax, I think, could be a type of consumption tax, maybe. So this is a tax on value. So value added. What this means is that when someone makes a good service, let's say a t-shirt, a t-shirt manufacturer would take by, let's say, textile manufacturer would buy raw cotton, then spin it into fabric. The difference between the cost of the raw cotton and the price less the cost of the raw cotton and the price the fabric is sold is the value added, which gets taxed. So this is common in the EU and right. So European Union VAT. Okay, so it seems like VAT is a big thing. Yeah, this is used in the European Union. So tariffs. Countries can be hard to define, so okay, so how many countries? There are currently 193 member states. Our world currently has around 8 billion people. Alright, how many currencies are there in the world? 182 according to the UN. Wow. Important central banks. Yeah, so let me take a look. Central banks. Central banks of the world. Let's take a look at these. Bank of Afghanistan. So, I guess maybe every single country has its own central bank. Foreign reserves, currency share of global What are they? Official foreign exchange. Oops. Maybe I could delete some messages. Force quit. Let's see, data. IMF. Okay, data. Oh, this one. Currency and composition of official currency reserves. Claims in US dollar. What is a foreign exchange currency reserves? Does that mean that these are kind of cash, maybe bonds, government issued debt that people hold around the world? Let's see. Currency composition of official foreign exchange reserves coffer. Okay, it's kind of funny. Database is managed by the statistics department. This website disseminates end of period quarterly data. Okay, back by 1 quarter. FS. This is the monetary authorities. So there are 149. Analysts, policymakers, public to understand the currency composition of holding. Okay, so there's a decent amount of people that actually report to this coffer thing. Documents, FAQs. Go for data for individual countries. Sure, that's fair. Query tables. What's this? Oh, data for breakdown. Oh man, do I really not have that much left? Shares of euros. Chinese renminbi. So US dollars are one of the highest. Okay. So this is helpful. Currency composition. Oops. So let's see. International Monetary Fund, the IMF, so they have their currency composition of official FX reserves. COFR. Alright, so let's take a look here. I have to look into this because I'm not too sure exactly why my computer keeps running out of application memory. Right, so why is my computer running out of application memory? Your boot disk. Okay. So yeah, I would assume that probably OBS is causing some of this. So why am I using? So maybe I could delete some of these. Would help. So let's take a look. IMF, ChatGPT. So what is our foreign currency? That's what it's called, right? Reserves. The US dollar. Used to influence exchange rates. For instance, if a country's currency is falling, the central bank can sell its reserves of foreign currency to buy its own currency. Okay. Economic indicators talk about GDP, how it's measured, consumer spending, investments, government. Okay, so I'm gonna skip that part for now. Go one deeper. I think I have to go soon actually, but I'm gonna go one deeper to economic reports. Maybe that can help lower some of the virtual memory required for the processes. So let's take a look then. Okay. So another thing to think about then in the currency section. So foreign currency reserves. Right, so these foreign currency reserves are our reserves. So this is just cash is held by central banks around the world. central banks around the world. Okay. Okay, so these reserves are held by central banks around the world. Let me. Okay. World. Currently, the US dollar is the reserve currency of the world, meaning that most people, that it is the most widely held currency by foreign, by central banks, meaning that it's mostly well. Okay. I think this. So US dollars represent about 60% of all currency reserves, right? So ChatGPT is saying why people would want to right, so the point of these reserves is to create a buffer for the central bank. Right, and so like the US dollar, euro, British pound, among others, insurance, reserve banks. Reserves are used to influence exchange rates. For instance, if a country's currency is falling, the central bank can sell its reserves of foreign currency to buy its own currency, thereby, okay. So currency is falling, right? So that means the exchange rate is falling. It sells its foreign reserves to buy its own currency, okay. I can see that. So they're just buying up currencies, increasing the value. Can use foreign reserves to influence exchange rates, promote investments, promote investment, and pay off debts, right? What is the balance of payments? I think this is the last thing I'm going to look at over a specific period. Balance of payments. National investment position. This includes transactions that involve the export and import of goods and services, include income from foreign investments and transfers such as foreign aid and remittances. A surplus in that current account means the country is exporting more goods and services and investments in its imports, while deficit indicates the opposite. Don't affect income. It includes a variety of non-market capital transfers and transactions in non-produced, non-financial assets. Examples include debt forgiveness or transfers of goods and certain financial assets by migrants entering leaving the country. It's theoretically balance meaning that any deficit or surplus in the current account should be offset by equal surplus or deficit in the capital and financial accounts. Oh, so it's just a system of debts and credits. All right. So balance of payments was really just how money flows around the world. I'm going to add that here. So what's balance of payments? How money flows around the world. It involves 3 accounts, and the flow should has a similar debit/credit structure like accounting. One country's surplus should be another country's deficits. Right, okay. So I'm going to end this here. And I might start another stream later to go a bit deeper into this idea of balance of payments. So yeah, I'll end this here, and then I'll catch you guys in the next one.